flying around and being able.
We may have gone to the moon in a buggy, it seems sometimes, doesn't it?
That's right. I mean, our technological advancements are still precarious. I mean, we're burning fossil fuel to get anywhere, but we can go around our planet pretty easily. People get on a plane, they don't think about it twice, they go across the world and so on. I mean, this is tremendous in 150 years of development. Imagine a planet that evolved earlier than us and that got maybe 1,000 years of technological development. Where would they be? How fast would their computer run? When you think about it, most likely those planetary systems would have figured out how to use the force of nature, forces in nature, and maybe overcome gravity, maybe find a way to warp space and time, and be able to travel very, very large distances, something that we can't conceive today, but that may be just around the corner for us as well. And a society like this, and since there may be thousands and thousands of these civilizations out there, it's not unreasonable to think that maybe our planet was discovered very early on by advanced civilization, and that these advanced civilizations bestowed the inhabitants of our planet with some information. And when you look around in ancient civilization and you study them and you look at their writings and you look at their monuments and what they left for us, they all talk about these sun gods that came from the stars, that brought them all they know about civilization. None of these ancient civilization claims to have come up with all the knowledge they have. They all said it came from these sun gods.
Yes. They point up, Nassim, all the time. When you talk about, where did you get this information? They always point toward the sky.
Exactly. And they as well say that these people taught them how to build the buildings they built, and that they helped them do that, and that, that they learned mathematics and that they learned writing from them and all this stuff. So, it's overwhelming when you do the research because it's everywhere. I mean, some 300 different civilizations around the world talks about these sun gods coming from the stars. And so I believe they might have been a contact very early on. And when you combine this with more modern history, where you find, even from the Middle Ages on, that there's reports of people seeing, flying objects and all these, millions and millions of people over time.
Sure.
And now governments that are releasing, top secret files about UFOs activity and so on, and some of the most trusted military personnel coming forward and talking about these things, it starts to become a very convincing argument.
Do you believe that they left us, or might they still be here?
I think they're still here. There's still so many people that see them. There's so many reports, and like I said, some of the reports come from very entrusted people, military personnel and airline jet pilots and so on. And I think that they're still around, and they might be waiting for us to reach a level of consciousness, a level of awareness where we're more harmonious and maybe a little less violent.
Are you a believer in some intelligent design, or do you believe that whatever happened here, even though there may be thousands, if not millions of civilizations out there, that they weren't developed randomly? Somebody had to have started it or something.
Well, that brings us right into actually the core of the work I'm doing. I think that this is a big issue in our civilization currently. You have the scientific world on one side that's saying, it's all random. And you have the spiritual world on the other side saying there's some God that's organizing everything, or at least the religious world. And the two don't agree. And and on both sides of the fence, you find good arguments. I mean, certainly, when you look at our world and the biology of our world, the biosphere is very highly organized. I mean, it's extremely complex. And, I always give this example. I mean, the complexity of one human being is remarkable. If I took all the DNA inside your body, George, and I pulled it out, and I strung it end to end, I could wrap it around the world 5 million times. That's how much DNA information network that's present inside your body, like all compactify, all talking to each other, all working all the information out so that your cell divide appropriately, and their division is very rapid. And if that didn't work out well, all of a sudden you could be starting to grow a nose on your toe and a toe on your nose, and it would be very uncomfortable to have a nose in your shoe. That's remarkable, and it demands something more than random function. In fact, if you look at the complexity of one blade of grass with all its microbial life, and you try to calculate how this could have occurred in random function since the Big Bang, it doesn't work out. It exceeds the Big Bang. In some ways, it makes sense that there's some kind of organizing factor. But if you're asking me if I believe in some God that's doing all this, I would say absolutely not. What I believe in is that there is a feedback, and I'm going to give you an example.
Okay.
If you were to give a Rubik's Cube to a blind man, which is not a really nice thing to do.
No, but he'd probably do it better than I would.
And he could move the cube once every second, and you ask him to order it. Because he doesn't know if he's getting closer or further from the solution, you can write the probabilities on how long it could take him to order it.
Right.
And when you do that at one move every second, the probabilities are so large that you exceed the Big Bang, 14 billion years.
True.
I mean,
infinitesimal odds,
yeah,
I would believe.
It's very, very large. And so, but if you tell the blind man every time he makes a move, yes, you're getting closer, or no, you're getting further, then within 2.5 minutes, you will have the cube ordered. So this is a remarkable change in length of time. So what I believe is that there's actually a mechanism of feedback in our universe. That is, that there is information going out into the universe, and there's information coming in from the universe. There's a relationship. There's a feedback, so that the system knows what it's doing. It knows what everything in the universe is doing, how it's organizing, what works and what doesn't work, like you see it in nature. When nature finds something that doesn't work or doesn't work anymore because the elements are changing, because the environment is changing, it slowly gets rid of it. And so, what I'm saying is that there is an element of feedback, and that feedback is due to the relationship that we have between the atomic structure and the space around it. And I need to give more details about that so that it's understood.
And also, there's so many things I want to talk with you about that are all related, one of which is everything in the universe, Nassim, seems to be so orderly. it all seems to be so proper. You know, yes, we just found out there's a planet that spins the wrong way. That's not very usual. That is very unusual. But by and large, there seems to be order and everything's the same in the universe. I'm convinced that on other planets and other systems, they probably have similar elements like we have too, don't you?
Yeah, most likely, at least in our, in our section of the universe.
Yes.
And, I think as well that this orderly fashion that we see everywhere, that's very good observation, is